Some say you can't judge a book by its cover. To them I say, have you seen the Final Fantasy XIII box art? This is Cover Court. There's only a few days left until the release of Final Fantasy XV, the brand new title in the almost 30-year-old Japanese RPG series. I'm no doubt excited for the game, having made sure to set away time to truly enjoy it on my own on release. However, as with every major release, there are a lot of various cover designs for various parts of the world, as well as various different editions available. Let's go through these designs one by one. Exhibit A is a Japanese standard cover, which was the first box art revealed for the game. It's a very pretty looking image of the cast walking down a road ready to set up camp somewhere, reflecting the game's key mechanics involving camping and traveling by car on a fantasy-filled road trip. If there's one issue I have with the Japanese cover, is that the logo on top doesn't really fit the look of the imagery. While the logo, designed by Yoshitaka Amano, is very pretty, it's a little too large and detailed to fit the calm look of the cover. I would have opted for a simpler logo instead. Still, the Japanese standard cover gets my approval. Exhibit B is a North American and European standard cover, originally unveiled at E3 early this year. Square Enix of America were proud that for the first time in the history of Final Fantasy releases, they were permitted to create brand new CG promo art from scratch, rather than use pre-made images from Japan. The cover itself is less calm than the Japanese alternative. The party is getting ready for combat, with Noctis pulling a half dude with the back towards the viewer pose, which you can hear me talk about in an earlier episode, while the sky is filled with ominous beings, likely summons. It's a little messy, and I'm not sure what the hell Prompto is doing on the cover, but I do still like it. The simple logo is plus as well, even if it could have been slightly larger to stand out a bit more. So far so good, the North American and European cover gets my approval as well. This is where we move to the various additional covers, starting with Exhibit C, the reverse sleeve cover. The reverse sleeve for Final Fantasy XV is simply the game's logo on a solid black background. I've got to admit, that's not what I expected. Starting with Final Fantasy VII, the series have loved to use a simple white background with the logo sitting alone on the cover. It's a look a lot of fans love, and it was very prominent in the Japanese and European releases of the PlayStation titles. While Final Fantasy XIV got a simple cover like this in 2010 in Japan and Europe, Final Fantasy XIII was somewhat infamous for putting its classic cover design on the limited collector's edition rather than its standard cover outside of Japan. But Final Fantasy XV deciding to do the simple cover with a black background instead of white is certainly interesting, even if it will upset a lot of purist fans. It's not the first cover to do so. The North American release of Final Fantasy IV on Nintendo DS did the same thing. But more importantly, it's likely this move was done because of the logo's color scheme. It's not a logo that goes well on white, it's clearly designed with darker tones in mind. So in the end, the logo was put on a black background to look better. Personally, I think this is a good move, but I do understand that a lot of fans that like their solid white covers will be let down. Moving on to Exhibit D, the special edition steelbook cover. This cover is said to show the unbreakable bond between King Regis and Crown Prince Noctis, but sappy lore aside, it's an odd cover. It's very pretty, and it's nice to see gorgeous 2D artwork representing a Final Fantasy game's cover, as that's rare these days, but I just can't help but feel it's a bit too dull to sell what's meant to be a fantasy adventure. Sure, you can argue it's for established fans who don't need swaying, but I've still got 2 more collector's editions left to talk about after this, so I don't find the cheaper and more common one would have that excuse. While it's pretty, it's just a bit too boring to catch my eye should I see it on a store shelf. Sorry Final Fantasy XV Special Edition, but you'll have to do better than that. Exhibit E is the Deluxe Edition, another steelbook release that features more gorgeous Amano artwork. This time the art is Big Bang, a work that was featured earlier this year at the Uncovered Final Fantasy XV event, but originally drawn over a decade ago. Not going to lie, I love this cover. I'm a sucker for Amano's art, but he's outdone himself with this one. Striking, eye-catching, and very, very, very Final Fantasy. The one thing that bugs me is that the logo, with its shiny blue look, can be a little hard to read, but hopefully that won't be an issue for the real deal, as it's a sleeve on top of the steelbook. The Deluxe Edition has an easy win for me. Finally, we reach Exhibit F, the Ultimate Collector's Edition. The release that almost cost €300 to buy and is sold out worldwide. This monster release is the ultimate thing for a fan of Final Fantasy to get, so what does the cover look like? Well, it's a 4-sided box of the party walking towards the viewer with bored looks on their faces in monochrome. Wow. Now, to be fair, inside the box is a beautiful black embossed box with a sleeve featuring the same Big Bang artwork as the Deluxe Edition, but that's not the main exterior. That's not the first thing you'll see when you get this Ultimate Collector's Edition. I seriously thought that this box's cover art was placeholder art when I first saw it, because it just felt so dull and pointless when compared to every other cover for this game. They could have kept the logo and solid black look and it would have looked more impressive. The Ultimate Collector's Edition dropped the ball, badly, not approved. And those are the 6 covers for Final Fantasy 15, mostly good, some dull, and one really bad one with 4 giant sides. In the end, I feel the bad things here are mere misdemeanors in the long run, and I'm going to give Final Fantasy 15 a verdict of not guilty of crimes against cover laws. Court dismissed.